is Nadira binti Zulkifli. My groupmates and I are going to be doing a presentation about the similarities and differences about 7 MFRSs regarding the presentations and disclosures of 2 different companies from 2 different industries, which is Gamuda Berhad and Kule Malaysia Berhad. Before going into the main objective of our presentation, which is the similarities and differences regarding the 7 MFRSs, I would be explaining about these 2 industries that were chosen for us. The two industries that were chosen for us was the industrial goods sector and also the consumer goods sector. The industrial goods sector is a category of stocks that relates to the production of producing goods in the use of construction and manufacturing. The industrial goods sector includes companies involved in aerospace and defense, industrial machinery, tools, lumber production, construction, waste management, manufacturing, housing, and cement and metal fabrication. The performance in the industrial goods sector is largely driven by the supply and demand for building construction in residential, commercial, and industrial real estate segments, as well as the demand for manufacturing products. When the economy contracts and consumers save more and spend less, activities in these sectors drop because these companies postpone expansion and produce fewer goods. With the industry covering a wide range of subsectors, there is usually at least one area of growth in this industrial goods sectors. Many of these subsectors go through an increase of growth cycles lasting for years before seeing a retraction. For example, the aerospace and home building sectors have gone through these cycles. Other areas such as industrial conglomerates and waste management have provided steady streams of revenue generation. Okay, so now let's go on to the consumer goods sector. The consumer goods sector is a category of stocks and companies that relate to items being purchased by individuals rather than being purchased by manufacturers and industries. These industries includes companies that are involved with food production, packaged goods, clothing, beverages, automobiles, and electronics. The performance in the consumer goods sector depends heavily on consumer behavior. When the economy grows, the sector will see an increase for demand on higher-end products. When the economy shrinks, there is an increase in demand for value products. While some product types, such as foods, are necessary, others, such as automobiles, are considered as luxury items. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part of the presentation, where I'm going to be talking about the background of the companies that we have chosen. The first company is Gamuda Berhad. Gamuda Berhad is a company in the industrial product sector. Gamuda Berhad is a company that was incorporated back in 1976 on the 6th of October and was listed in the main board of Bursa Malaysia on 10th August 1992. Gamuda Berhad is an engineering, property and infrastructure company based in Malaysia. It is one of the largest Malaysian infrastructure companies with a proven track record of delivering innovative breakthrough solutions worldwide. Gamuda Berhad aims to lead the region in innovative breakthrough solutions for large-scale public infrastructure and property development. The mission of Gamuda Berhad is to reliably deliver innovative, world-class infrastructure and premier lifestyle properties to their customers through their core business in infrastructure development and construction, operating of infrastructure facilities, and property development. They also believe that creating a high-performance work culture is fair and welcoming. The next company is Kule Malaysia Berhad. Kule Malaysia Berhad is a company that is in the consumer product sector. The history of Kule Malaysia Berhad began over 70 years ago with the incorporation of Kulim Rubber Plantations Limited, KRPL, in the United Kingdom on 4th July 1933. The year 1947 marked the group's humble beginning with an operation of 190 hectares of rubber plantation in the state of Johor, Malaysia. The mission of Kule Malaysia Berhad is to enhance and deliver value to the stakeholders, optimize the use of resources, produce superior quality products, be socially and environmentally responsible corporate citizens, and to operate with due regard for the welfare, health and safety of employees, the local community, and the wider public. The mission of Kulim Malaysia Berhad is to enhance and deliver value to the stakeholders, optimize the use of resources, produce superior quality products, and to be socially and environmentally responsible corporate citizens, and to operate within due regard for the welfare, health, and safety of employees, the local community, and to the public as well. Kulim Malaysia Berhad believes that the spirit of caring is integral to the prosperity and the survival of their own business. Their concept of caring integrates and extends beyond their capital providers to include their employees, the society, and their environment. It means building their competitive capacity with intense biasness towards actions in generating profitable growth, whilst being firmly guided by their pledge to be responsible and ethical. Okay, now to go into deeper with our main objective of the presentation, which is the similarities and differences regarding these 7 MFRSs, I would like to pass the torch to the next presenter, which is Nur Shahira binti Kamarul Zaman. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadira. Hi everyone. Now I will explain about share-based payment that the company has adopted. As we know, share-based payment transaction is when the entity receives goods or service as consideration for equity instruments of the entity or equity instruments of another entity within the group. In other words, the entity use equity instrument to pay for the goods or service. In Gamada Berhad, they have providing share-based payment to employees, and directors is charged to profit or loss over the vesting period of the related share options. The cost is based on the fair value of the option at grant date and the number of options expected to vest. The fair value of each option is determined using the binomial model value by an independent valuer. The valuation of this share-based payment requires judgment to be made in respect of the fair value of the option at grant date and the number of options that are expected to vest. The details of assumption made in respect of the share-based payment scheme are disclosed. Meanwhile, in Kulim Berhad, employees, including senior executives of the group, receive remuneration in the form of share-based payments, whereby employees render service as consideration for equity instruments. Under equity settled transaction, the cost of equity settled transaction is determined by the fair value at the date when the grant is made using an appropriate valuation model. The cost is recognized together with a corresponding increase in employee share option scheme reserve included in equity over the period in which the performance and or service conditions are fulfilled. Through about MFRS 15, revenue from contract with customers. Okay, in Gamuda Berhad, they use 5-step model that has been established by MFRS 15 that will apply to revenue arising from contract with customers. MFRS 15 will supersede the current revenue recognition guidance, including MFRS 118 revenue, MFRS 111 construction contract, and the related interpretation when it becomes effective. The core principle of MFRS 15 is that the entity should recognize revenue which depict the transfer of promised goods or service to customers in an amount that reflects the consideration to which the entity expects to be entitled in exchange for those goods or service. Under MFRS 15, an entity recognizes revenue when or as a performance obligation is satisfied. For example, when control of the goods or service underlying the particular performance obligation is transferred to the customer. Meanwhile, in Kulim Berhad, for MFRS 15, the revenue from contract with customer falls under the standard issue but not yet effective. This means that the company has not yet taken this MFRS into account. Kulim still reports revenue according to MFRS 118 revenue. The next term that I will explain are employment benefit under MFRS 119. Employment benefit are the rewards of an employment can be both monetary and non-monetary in nature, and they can be received immediately or in the future period. We can see that both companies are provide short-term employee benefit, which is wages, salaries, paid annual leave and sick leave, bonus and non-monetary benefits that are expected to be settled wholly within 12 months after the end of the period in which the employees render the related service are recognized in respect of employees' service up to the end of the reporting period and are measured at the amount expected to be paid when the liabilities are settled. The liabilities are presented as provision in the statement of financial position. In general, FAR660 Accounting and Reporting by Retirement Benefits Plan deals with the accounting and reporting of retirement benefit plan by entity, managing the plan to all participants as a group. We can see that both companies also provide defined contribution plan where the group participants in the national pension scheme as defined by the laws of the country which it has operations. The Malaysian companies in the group make contribution to the Employee Provident Fund in Malaysia, a defined contribution pension scheme. Contribution to defined contribution pension scheme are recognized as an expense in the period in which the related service is performed. They are charged to profit or loss in the period to which they relate. Prepaid contribution are recognized as an asset to the extent that and cash refund or reduction in the future payment is available.
Okay, thank you Syairah for the presentation, and first of all, my name is Nuwati binti Hasni and I will explain about FAR7, which is financial instrument and specifically for disclosure. Okay, the first company is Gamuda Berhad. Okay, for Gamuda Berhad, financial assets are recognized in the statement of financial position when the group of the company become a party to the contractual provision of the financial instrument. Gamuda Berhad determine the classification of the financial asset at initial recognition, and the categories include financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, loans and receivable, held to maturity investment, and available for sale financial asset. Okay, the first one is financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. Okay, financial asset are classified as financial asset at fair value through profit or loss if they are held for trading or are designated as such upon initial recognition. And the second one is loans and receivables. Financial asset with fixed or determined payable that are not quoted in the active market are classified as loan and receivable. And the other thing is financial liabilities. Okay, financial liability are classified according to the subset of contractual agreement entered into the definition of financial liability. Financial liability are classified as either financial liability at fair value through profit or loss or other financial liabilities. Okay, the first one is financial liabilities at fair value through profit or loss. Financial liabilities at fair value through profit or loss include financial liability held for trading or financial liability designated upon initial recognition as at fair value through profit or loss. Gamuda Berhad have not designated any financial liabilities as at fair value through profit or loss. And the second one is other financial liabilities. Okay, Gamuda Berhad financial liabilities include trade payables, other payables, and loans and borrowings. Okay, for the second company, which is Kulim Malaysia Berhad. Okay, this company not yet adopted MFRS 7, MFRS 9 and MFRS 132, which is specifically for financial instrument. Currently, they are using non-revised accounting standard to disclose financial instrument of the company. Okay, thank you. I will pass to Nurul Adibat.
For Gamuda Berhad, financial assets are recognized in statement of financial position when and only when the groups and the company become a party to the contractual provision of the financial instrument. When financial assets are recognized initially, they are measured at fair value plus directly attributable transaction costs in the case of the financial asset not a fair value through profit or loss. The groups and the company determine the classification of their financial asset at initial recognition, and the categories include financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, loans and receivables held to maturity investment, and available for sale financial asset. For Kulim Malaysia Berhad, MFRS 9, which is financial instrument, falls under the standard issued but not yet effective. This means that the company has not yet taken this MFRS into account. Kulim Malaysian Berhad still report their financial instrument within the scope of FAR660, which is Financial Instrument Recognition and Measurement. Under Gamuda Berhad, ordinary share are equity instrument. Ordinary share are recorded at the proceed received net of directly attributable incremental transaction costs. Ordinary share are classified as equity. Dividends on ordinary share are recognized in equity in the period in which they are declared. Financial instruments subject to offsetting arrangement. The group also entered into a cross-currency interest rate swap, which is CCIRS, to hedge against foreign currency and interest rate movement for the term loan, which have an arrangement to settle simultaneous on due date at a net basis. The group uses derivative financial instruments such as cross-currency interest rate swap to hedge its interest rate and foreign exchange risks. Such derivative financial instruments are initially recognized at fair value on the date on which a derivative contract is entered into and are subsequently measured at fair value at each reporting date. Derivatives are carried as financial asset when the fair value is positive and as financial liability when the fair value is negative. For Kulim Malaysian Berhad, since the company has not yet effectively used the MFRS 9, thus it is assumed that the company also not adopting MFRS 138 and currently using the non-revised accounting standard to present their financial instrument of the company. Okay, I will proceed with voluntary disclosure. Under environmental issue, Gamuda Berhad have conducted some program such as reducing office waste, where in their daily operations they will reduce environmental footprint through concerted effort to evaluate energy efficiency, reduce wastage and recycle materials on a regular basis, such as by making all departments at their headquarters implement the 3R program, which is reduce, recycle and reuse, to manage and conserve resource at the workplace. Meanwhile, Kulim Malaysian Berhad has taken steps to take its sustainability agenda to the next level by continually developing and deploying new technology, utilizing environmental friendly fertilizers, on the use of oil to control pest population in oil palm plantations. Barn owls and snakes have a useful role to play in helping keep check on rodent population, while predatory insects, parasitoid and entomopathogenic fungi keep defoliating insect at bay. The zero burning replanting techniques has been adopted as the industry standard in palm oil replanting since the early 1990s. Under corporate social responsibility, in 2013, Gamuda Berhad has made a Project Differently Able Project DA that was launched at Gamuda Berhad. To date, Gamuda has employed 20 employees with autism via Project DA to tap the potential of people with autism and to train them to be gainfully and sustainable employed. They scale up their Project DA by establishing the Enabling Academy. The objective of the Enabling Academy, which is to provide pre-employment training and a transition program to enable people with autism to achieve sustainable white-collar positions such as administrative assistant, data entry officer and other roles. For Kulim Malaysian Berhad, in 2008, First Solar is introduced. It is the largest high-technology manufacturing site for the First Solar's advanced thin-film PV modules. Construction is underway for the Kulim Module Assembly Facility, where the next generation of First Solar's module will be built. This installed capacity produces enough clean electricity annually to power 5 million households, save over 80 million litres of water, displace 7 million metric tons of CO2 per year, and reduce other air pollution by 89 to 98%. On 15 January 2016, First Solar Kulim officially launched its 12 kW solar energy system at the Al-Fatih Mosque in Bandar Baharu, a township about 20 kilometers from Kulim facilities. In the last part of this video, I would like to conclude that Gamuda Berhad and Kuliah Malaysia Berhad has been prepared in accordance with Financial Reporting Standard and the Companies Act 2016 in Malaysia. At the beginning of the current financial year, the group and the company adopted new and revised FRS, which are mandatory for financial periods beginning on or after 1 January 2017. However, there are certain MFRS that has not been effectively adopted by the company. For example, Kuliah Malaysia Berhad does not prepare financial within the scope of MFRS 9 by adopting FRS 139. The two companies, however, have something in common where they both provided short-term employee benefits and defined contribution plan. In terms of their financial instrument, it cannot be compared under the same MFRS since they are the company using FRS. So, in conclusion, I would like to conclude that it is essential for a company to adopt revised and latest accounting standard to conduct their company in accordance to the Malaysia laws. Thank you so much and thank you for watching these videos.